Make welcome a young man with a great future, and a one who believes in doing things in decency and order, but one who's a true young and up and coming PLP. Our very own brother, Barry Griffin.
She ran away. She promised she'd be faithful to me, but she scheme on me. Say she take all my money, she take my car, my virginity.
PLP! Y'all gotta do better than that. PLP! PLP! My PLP family, what a beautiful sight. My PLP family, though I stand on this PLP stage tonight, I am first and foremost a Bahamian, a patriotic but concerned young Bahamian, concerned with the state of affairs in our government. So as I stand here with the entire Bahamas under my voice, as chairman of the Progressive Young Liberals, the youth leader of our party, I admittedly do not speak to everyone tonight. Tonight, I speak to the dreamers, the ones who see things differently. I speak to the young and the young at heart, to those people who are crazy enough to think that together we can change this Bahamas. I speak to those who still believe that the Bahamas is still the greatest little country on this planet. I speak to you, my fellow Bahamians, because we are living in critical times. People across this country are losing their homes in record numbers. Those who are not losing their homes are losing their jobs with record number of public firings in the public sector. And if you're not losing your home or losing your job, you are definitely feeling the pinch. As gas prices rise, prices of breadbasket items increase, but your wages stay stagnant. Young people are finding it harder and harder to pay for college, harder and harder to save, and now we are faced with a government that simply lacks compassion for the people who they were elected to serve. It seems each day this government is hell-bent on giving us a civics lesson in bad governance and how not to run a country. And despite the slogans, each day this government is showing more and more that it is everyone's time but the Bahamian people. Young Bahamians, with this as the harsh reality, we can no longer sit at the sidelines. We must dust off our gloves and get in the ring. We must be the change we wish to see in this country, because young people are feeling forgotten. I can't tell you how many young people I meet who feel like no one is listening to them. The 26-year-old father in Pinewood, who I met recently, who works 2 jobs, a 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then a 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., getting just 4 hours of sleep each day so that he can make enough money to support his 2 daughters. He doesn't feel like the government is listening to him. The financial services professionals who watch bank after bank close and watch their jobs move to other jurisdictions after they've spent thousands and thousands of dollars getting degrees and certificates that they were told would land them a comfortable job. They do not think that the government is listening to them. And unfortunately, these people all too often are right. The Bahamas has become a place where the well-connected and the moneyed are able to wield huge influence. And under this government, they know that it's their time. So they are reaping all the benefits while regular Bahamians suffer. For all our strides and accomplishments as a country, we are still a land in which most are still in need. So when we see a government touting economic success while firing young people by the droves and firing low-income workers, something is wrong. When we see a government touting economic recovery, but the majority can't feel it, something is wrong. You see, young people are more aware than ever before. We are in a state of consciousness never before seen in our country. We are woke to the realities of life in the Bahamas, so we cannot be the generation that maintains the status quo. We see young people around the world fighting and rising up to take their seats at the table. How long will we give this government a pass? How bad does it have to get before we rise? To young people across the country, and in particular, those who support the present government, we must not fall into the traps of the past, blindly adorning political colors. We must be Bahamians first. We must be nationalists. We must be radicals. When the party we support is not doing right by the Bahamian people, we must call them out. And this government is not doing right by the young people of this country. Now, tonight, I am asked to grade the F&M government on their first year in office. But how does one grade a government that doesn't even show up? Over the last year, this government has consistently failed to show up for our young people. My fellow PLPs, we are in opposition tonight because young people spoke out. As a young person, I am proud of young Bahamians who came to the polls and made their voices heard. PLPs, we must ensure that our party listens to young people this time around and that the mandate that we have set is adhered to. We must transform our party into the party through whom young people can realize their dreams once again. Young Bahamians, the general election of 2017 has left the PLP in the most promising position it has been in since this party was formed. Young people now have an opportunity to infiltrate this party and infuse it with 21st century progressive and liberal ideas. We have an opportunity to start a movement that will be remembered for generations. We must put aside our colors and stand together as a generation. When it comes to our future, the only colors we must think about are aquamarine, gold, and black. Young people, we must stand as one voice because when we do, we are a powerful force. There are many young people who are disappointed with the government, but those young people are up tonight and they are watching our Facebook feed, hoping to hear something that inspires them because they know in their hearts that there must be more, that this time around must be different, that the PLP must be the party to lead us into the future. They know that there's something happening in this little country right now where young people speak not just of voting for party, but voting for their hopes and their dreams and their aspirations. And whether we are rich or poor, whether we have Creole or Latin or European or African blood running through our veins, whether we hail from Fresh Creek or Low Sound, whether we hail from Matthewtown or Freeport, from Salina Point or Marsh Harbor, we young people are ready to take this country and this party in an entirely new direction. That is what is happening in the Bahamas right now. That is what is happening in the PLP. All of you here tonight whose belief in our great party is deeply held, the young people watching tonight across the Bahamas, we can breed the majority that brings our party and our country out of political darkness. Our new Bahamian coalition can end the craziness that is families having to organize cookouts to raise funds for simple medical procedures. Universal health care is a progressive cause that we must continue to fight for. So while our government is fighting with doctors and nurses and cozies up with the insurance companies, we must reach out and work hand in hand with our medical professionals to make the PLP vision of universal health care a reality. Politics isn't just about what our elected officials can do. It is about what we can do to change our country. That is why nights like tonight belong to all of us, young Bahamians, the length and breadth of this country. Young people, we must remember that no matter what obstacles stand in our way, nothing can stand in the way of the power of thousands of young Bahamians rising, calling for change, making our voices heard. You know, they don't believe we can do it. They don't believe that we can stand together for change. They don't believe that we can put down our phones long enough to organize ourselves. But they are wrong. We must prove them wrong. We swayed the election in 2007, and now it's time to sway governments. With the same zeal that we voted out a party, we must now keep the present government's feet to the fire. We must stand up for young people. We must stand up for women. We must stand up for the poor and the marginalized. That is who we are. This is the Bahamian way. This is the PLP way. So tomorrow, as we wake up and the reality sets in that we have been under this government for an entire year, as we continue to learn that the struggles of BPL technician are not so different from the struggles of the junior doctor, that the hopes of the young girl who goes to school in Bimini and the hopes of the young man who grows up in Baintown are not so different, we will remember that there is something brewing here tonight in this little country. And there is something brewing in the PLP. That we are one Bahamas, and together we must begin to write the next great chapter in our party and our country. Bahamians, our future is bright. PLPs, our future is bright. And if you believe that, I need you to rise to your feet and say to me that you are with the PLP all the way. So PLP, PLP, hey! PLP!